Welcome back to Racing 1919. Thank you all for watching, liking, subscribing, all that jazz. Before we get into the press conference reaction and my press conference reaction, there's going to be a number of different people that react to this in a number of different ways. So I'll try to be as reasonable as I can, as normal. But before I get to that, I want to bring in a couple of things. Firstly, Ger Lynch, congratulations last night. He took two awards. At the Creator Awards that were actually based at the Centenary in Leeds. Also want to congratulate all Leeds TV. I think they took two as well. Listen, in my opinion, I watch an awful lot of content. I watch a lot of content creators, obviously from Leeds, and there's a list of them. And to be honest with you, he's probably the most level-headed out of everybody. We're all emotional, as Farke always says, but it's true. But I think Jer massively deserves it. And I think Jer, he's never watching this, but I think he has to keep doing what he's doing because he's just brilliant at it. So I'm hoping he does. I love all these TV. I love their after match um, they go to the matches and they put it up and their vlogs are brilliant. It really captures the atmosphere inside the ground, whether it's a positive result or a negative result. We can see the emotions just running through. So it's great to sit and watch that. Um, Content creators, look, there's been issues. I'm not going to delve into things like that. I watch them all. I watched Joe, Just Joe. He was the first ever content creator that I subscribed to. I'm a member of Just Joe. I love watching him. He's passionate. I mean, I don't agree with everything he says, and I don't expect him to agree with everything I say. But I love watching him on because I just sit back at this last while and I just watch him go because whether you agree or disagree with Joe, he's just full of passion. Um, he tells it how it is. He wears his heart on his sleeve. It is what it is with Joe. Spade's a spade, so he will call people out. I like that. Jer, completely analytical, very good both sides. He's very good from a tactical analysis side, and then he's also got the fan in him, which is great to see as well. Connor McGilligan, Connor, I think he, he's a he's very good at what he does. He's a lot collaborating with a number of different people from a number of different clubs, even back to Benjamin Bloom and people like that. I love watching him, Benjamin Bloom, together. I think they're brilliant together. Um, Imagine not being Leeds, Matty. I've probably subscribed to Matty only recently, the last few months, but I love the show. Friday nights, 10 o'clock. Watch it tonight, please. It's brilliant. They've got a great dynamic, the three lads that's on there. And that brings me to Boss Nass. Boss Nass, I subscribed to Boss Nass the other day. I seen a video and I loved it. Loved it. Um, I think it's great. Everybody's got an opinion, and I say it all the time in my videos. We've all got opinions. My opinion isn't right. Doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong, but it's great to have opinions and be able to put them out there. I just don't like being a personal about it. I just put my opinion out there. If you want to argue with me, 100%, I'm more than happy to have an argument with you or a debate. That's the way it should be. It is what it is. Not delving into other people, just myself I'm talking about here. I subscribe to Leeds Derby, Joe Blackburn, Lockie and Andrea. Brilliant analytical show, by the way. If you watch, go on Lockie Leeds and Andrea. Those two men, whenever they break things down, look at players individually, look at the opposition. They are they're brilliant. I love their analysis. Please look at them because they are brilliant. Discourse of Leeds. I actually got to know Discourse Leeds through Just Joe. A lot of these I got to know them through Just Joe. Again, Jack City. Jack City. Love Jack City. He's just Thursday nights, love sitting watching on Thursday night, just seeing what chaos ensues, He's just chill. There's Square Ball, or the knows better. Planet Leeds, that's Boss Nass. I've just subscribed to Planet Leeds the last few days and I loved everything that he's able to put across and say. He says it with genuine thoughts, feelings, emotions, everything. He talks from the heart. Every single creator that I have said about on that list today, I will say every single one of them are different, very different. And that's why I love watching them all, because you will see so much, so many of them create different content. When it's the transfer window, I love watching Joe Blackburn, because Joe does the watch alongs and the flight and all that. It's funny, but it's good crack. I love watching it all purely because you get to see everybody's personal views, different perspectives, the reason why they think like that. And obviously, I think my way. I have my own opinion, and I will explain my opinions. I won't necessarily always agree with it. You can't agree with them all, and they're not all going to agree with each other. But at the end of the day, most of them give each other the option or the time to come on and speak to each other, and I totally get that, and that's great. That's the way we should be. I just want to put it out there that anybody that does not agree in my opinion, you're more than welcome to come here and talk to me or get in the comments and challenge me. Not a problem. But whenever you're calling me, telling me I'm talking shit, and go back and watch my previous video, well, why don't you tell me what you don't agree with, and then I can tell you why I've said that, or the reason why I've said how I've come to that conclusion. Instead of trying to insult me, I don't really care for it. If you don't want to watch me, don't watch me. I don't care. I won't lose any sleep. If you want to watch me, you're more than welcome here. More than welcome. I love watching all these guys. As I say, the one person that I've watched the longest is Joe, and I've watched him for years. I've subscribed to him, and I'm a member of the channel. Uh, but all these people right now, I watch them all of them, and I very rarely comment anymore. I just sit back and let it all happen, and try to create the content whenever it comes out. I just try to absorb it. If I want to make a comment, I will, but more often than not, it's not really worth it at the minute. You know, I don't want to get in the slanging match of somebody else's comments. So it's just like, it's probably easier for me just to sit back and let that content creator just go with the content that they want to put up at that point in time, which I'm more than happy to do, because I respect every single one of them, because it's not for everybody to put your life out there, but you're putting your face out there and your opinion, so you're there to be shot at. So it's easy for somebody behind a faceless account to turn around and say X, Y, and Z without actually having the balls in them to turn around and go, well, I disagree with you because, or come on to a channel and say, I disagree with you because. I am more than happy to engage with anybody. I'm more than happy to go live. I'm more than happy to do a video with anybody that does not have the same view as me. 100%. But we're going to leave that there. Today's press conference. So I've taken a number of notes at the press conference. And to be fair, at the beginning, I actually thought it was positive enough. Everybody's fit. I was more than happy. Farke he seemed to be happy, content. The longer it went on, that sort of changed. He was happy, but those buzzwords come out again. I'm going to try not to get into all that. I'm going to start looking towards the game. I'm going to start looking towards where we can go. Daniel Farke's job has been talked about so often by so many, me included. I don't need to continually bash the man. I'm more concerned today about Villa. I want to win that game. We need points. We really need points. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not going to go through the bashing of them, because there's plenty of other time to do that. I'm hoping and praying we can take points at Villa. I'm hoping and praying we can. He said about he opened up with Dan James. To be fair, he said everybody's back fit. He said the Welsh boys specifically have come back and they're buzzing. Everybody's buzzing. Some are more buzzing than others. He mentioned Dan James is back. And he appears to love Dan James. He said about people not wanting Don James there whenever we come up to get him out alone and things like that. And there are things like I take that, but move on. I don't really care about that. I'm more concerned about how can Don James impact us on the pitch. Can he bring something that we've been sorely missing this season on the pitch? And yes, he can. He can bring a directness. He can bring the counter attack. He can bring speed and dynamism. He can whip a ball in. He can get the ball in the box and have a shot. We know what he did the last game when he come on in the last few minutes. Farke did say about him playing in the Welsh games, doing well in the Welsh games, and he's back and he's fit. But it remains to be seen if he does start him. The the only thing is, from the end of that, I sort of took it that it seems to be that Farke is going to probably start Brendan. We'll not know until Villa, obviously. He mentioned Willie. He went into spiel about Willie and being out injured, and he'd been out and he had a couple of different surgeries, and he's back fully fit or whatever, but he's look. He basically explained Willie's not going to start. I don't think Willie starts, which is hopefully he comes on. We need as many options from an attacking sense as we can get. With Don James and Willie coming back, it could be huge because we can get at this Villa team. Their central midfield. If they play three, we need to fight in that battle. If they play two, then we need to get a man. We need an attacking output from the centre. And I don't think, unless we play Okafor sort of in a 4-2-3-1 behind, I just don't know. I don't know what we're going to get, to be honest with you. The likelihood is, from my thought of this press conference, it's going to be a 4-3-3. And does anything change? Maybe Pascal comes in for Bijou. I don't think anything else really changes. But we don't know. That's the thing. We don't know. But I hope Don James starts over Brendan. I really do. I, that's where I hope. That's where I'm at right now. Um, there's a couple of things. As Daniel Farke does, he 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 goes into tangents and talks about. He could answer a question yes or no, or very straightforward. He could give a 30-second answer and he starts to talk for 5 minutes. And it's almost like you forget what the question was because he goes round the houses, doesn't even go round the houses. He leaves the town, goes to the next village, runs around them houses, and then comes back. And you're not at a loss for words, but you're just so confused with it all because it's like we just asked whether Don James is fit. We didn't ask for X, Y, and Z. Sometimes it's just not needed, you know, and it can be very frustrating. Uh, yeah. Bobby asked him a question. It wasn't really that softball. I always complain that it's always softball, but I actually think the journals actually did a decent job today. They were asking some questions that probably weren't very comfortable for Farka to answer. Like Puppy asked the question, he was waiting on the criticism, waiting to lose rather than taking a game to somebody and win. And he said, if Daniel Farke said he doesn't really care, so he doesn't care about the criticism. It's like, and to be honest with you, that's partially not a bad trait because if you care about criticism, then you're gonna make rash or stupid decisions. My concern about it is that we're not making any decisions. Like he reacts to subs rather than making proactive subs. Even the formation changes or putting on three strikers. He does that usually when we're 1 to 2 goals down in a game. So I'd like I'd like to see them challenge him on those type of things. However, I sort of get the answer that Farka came up with because ultimately he said he doesn't care about the criticism and where it's coming from and that type of thing. And that's okay. But there is legitimate criticism. There is legitimate criticism. And yes, he had a plenty of, I think, probably credit in the bank from the last season getting us into the Premier League. I think he definitely did. But at this point in the season, I think we've definitely got an option or an opportunity here where the fans, we know we're being listened to. Um, he's trying his best not to say the word emotional. A couple of different times he actually stopped himself a couple of times, and it was like passionate, not emotional, passionate, passionate. And it was funny. Like I actually busted out laughing, put it in the comment section in the Leeds United YouTube channel as well. It was funny. It was like it's funny, but it's like it's got to the stage now where I was getting quite angry generally. Uh, Through most of my videos, you can clearly see from the past. And again, like Donny said to me on the thing, calm down a bit. Like, not in those words, but he said more or less, calm it down. And to be fair, like, he's right. Like, I just laughed. I was just lost. I'm just sort of, I'm past anger now, and I'm just sort of, look, I want us to win. Of course, we all want us to win, but there's things like our form in the last 5 games. We're like, I think, second bottom in the league, something like that in the last 5 games. Villa's completely the opposite. They're in the way up and that type of thing. So we have to, yes, we have to have belief. Yet Farke said, like, whenever he came into the club, like, there's been passion and there's been pressure from day one. We're a very passionate club. So he's felt the pressure from day one, but that's why he took the job. And to be fair, if you remove that comment from all the stuff that I've previously said about emotion and passion and all the rest, that's actually probably quite a good comment because he's not wrong. But at the end of the day, as I say before, the reason why we're passionate is because of the club we are, because of the people we are, because of what we've been through, because of the amount of times that we've been ripped and ripped apart or by owners, previous owners, the amount of shite that we've had to see and watch. We've had to be in League One. We've had to develop thick skins, but we've also had to develop, I think, probably very good senses of humour when it comes to just playing a football game. There's times when we have seen some draws, and I just think to compete in this league, like, we're 11 games. There was one of the questions actually saying competing in the league and 11 games in, what would his assessment be? And he said he's not too bad. We're not in the relegation zone. We should have taken more points. All true. All true. Those points are true. However, and we look back in the last 2 games, okay, we know they were abysmal, but you can select other games. We've dropped points because of bad decision making. The Arsenal game, we were just outclassed. They'll do that to a few teams this season, 5-0. Then the Bournemouth, the changing the sub, the conceding the goal, all that. There's certain games that you could cherry pick bad management decisions, in my opinion. Um, the last 2 games, the Brighton Forest game, nowhere near. And the problem, the only one of the major issues that I have and the worries that I have is the fact that I'd be concerned about the confidence of the players going into a run of games that is very difficult after the last few games, and where we think we're getting points out of. That's what makes this game so important. So very important. There were people there throwing up the old bingo cards whenever he started saying about the newly promoted sides, and you know with just newly promoted sides, we also had the most expensive squad in the entire championship history. So the players that we brought in were adding to that squad. Yes, there's a massive chasm between Premier League and Championship. However, we need to caveat everything here and basically say there's feelings in the team, there's feelings in the squad. We can criticize the team, we can criticize the owners, but we also should be able to criticize the manager. It's as simple as that. I believe Daniel Farke, truthfully, is just not at Premier League level. That's my belief. I do not deny that the man wants to succeed. I 100%, we all agree with that. He wants to succeed. I'd say he believes he can succeed at Leeds, and succeeding at Leeds this season's keeping us in the league. I just don't think he's got the quality. Now, the thing about it is, if I didn't think, if I would be hugely concerned if he didn't have the confidence in himself. I'd be even more concerned about it. But it's like people are asking him, and ask them about, the negativity of the fans and stuff like that. Is it negativity, or is it, uh, are the fans being realistic? You know, if we're aiming for 17th and we miss, we're going to fall short and we're going down. You know, again, he made the reference to, wanting to go to Europe and stuff like that. That was the interview he did in the middle of the week. And I'm just like, Daniel, we never said that. Nobody's, I've never heard anybody say, we want to win a title, we want to go to Europe. You know, sometimes he really doesn't help himself. Maybe it's because, maybe it is because it's a second language. I'm giving him, I don't know. Oh, he, there was a weird one, and I was gobsmacked when he came out. But he turned around and he said something like, our individual quality won't win." What? So to me, that sounded very much like our individual, the quality that we have won't win games. We have to play as a unit. So what you're saying is our players aren't good enough. That to me is scary. I was like, what the was that statement? It doesn't instill belief if you're a player, you know what I mean? It just, to be honest with you, the rest of the interview sort of switched off because the presser was not the worst in the world, let's be brutally honest, but to me it sounded like a man fighting for his life. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't expect anything less. The fact that he is under pressure, he knows he's under pressure, but the man is fighting, and thankfully we have a man in charge for the Villa game anyway that is willing to stand and fight. Now we have to be at our best, and he said this himself at the Villa game. If we want anything out of that game, we have to be at our best because Villa, they have a top class manager, they've got top class players, they're sitting sixth in the league, they're in Europe. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. So, and the crazy thing for me is that Villa, Chelsea, Man City, I think we have, on Liverpool, um, we have an opportunity here against Villa that I personally believe we can take advantage of. Whether that's a point or 3 points, it doesn't really matter at this point. Now, he was asked about tactics in the last games, cutbacks and things like that, and said about different players, and he didn't want to call players out and all the rest. And to be honest, with you, I just thought he waffled through it because he knows for a fact that our midfield are massive fault here. And he named the two last games. But I went through 3 or 4 different games this season where our midfield is just not track runners, and we can't do that against this Villa team. Morgan Rogers will take us apart. We can't let that man have space. We can't let that man run beyond our number four, never mind our centre backs. If he gets on the run, we could be in big bother. One of the things, the positive things, is the fact that yes, we've only lost one game at home, um, so we need to really kick on at home and in this game and try to even play them in the counter, get something out of the game. But our midfield needs to be tight. He talked about courage and things like that. Possession doesn't win you football matches, Daniel. That's the only thing I'll say on that. I'm going to move on. Again, to me, it sounds very much like we're going to end up playing Brandon. I think we're going to play a 4-3-3. Brandon maybe Don James comes on, or Don James starts and then Brendan comes on. The likelihood is, in my opinion, Brendan starts. I want to say something though. We have an opportunity against Villa. I think personally, if we get this right, we can get points in them. This is big. Burnley have Chelsea at home. They're playing Chelsea. Bournemouth play West Ham. There are two very difficult games for the relegation rivals. Fulham plays Sunderland. We need Sunderland to beat Fulham. We are hoping Sunderland. Forest are away to Liverpool. Wolves are at home to Palace. There's none of these teams have got easy games. We need the games to go for us, and we need to pick something, especially with the 3 games coming next. We need those games. Now, bit of a crazy thing. We're then playing Chelsea. Is it next Saturday? I think it is. No, we're playing Man City next Saturday. Yes, Man City. Man City are playing in the Champions League on Tuesday night, and they're at home, but they're at home to Bayer Leverkusen. So they have a midweek game. We don't. So whatever happens this Villa game, we've an extra few days that we can concentrate on the Man City. I'm not saying we're going to win anything, but what I'm saying is we can put 100% into this Villa game. That Man City game, we need to be on it. We need 4-5-1, 5-4-1, whatever. Just change it up. Make sure it's defensive and play them in the counter. They're playing a Champions League game in the middle of the week. I'm not saying we can win, but we might not lose. We can't. We may give ourselves a chance. The Villa game's huge in relation to confidence. I think we can get a Villa. I genuinely think we can get a Villa, but we need everybody firing. Everybody, and that, and like, I'll be honest with you, I made a note. I'm gonna finish with this. I tried my best not really go to town on Daniel Farke, and I don't particularly want to do so. So what I'll finish on this. There is no point, 0 point, in sacking Daniel Farke unless we bring somebody in of better caliber. We've touched on management before, different managers and all the rest. If you're to sack Farke and bring somebody of a championship level or lower, or a similar type of profile than Farke, no point whatsoever. None. You've got to invest heavily in bringing in the right management team. Some people, I have not changed my position on Farke. 100% haven't. I still don't think he's up to the job, and I think we should change the manager, and I think we should do it after the Villa game, maybe the City game, but that's where I'm at. However, if he gets on out of this Villa game, and he gets something out of that Man City game, there's going to be a lot of people that are on the fence that will turn around and go, yeah, he maybe deserves a January window. I personally believe we need to step up in management on the management team. Doesn't necessarily mean shit that I think that, like, but um, these next 2 games, they're not easy, are huge, not just for Leeds United, but for Daniel Farke. Listen, thanks for getting this long. It's 28.5 minutes of pure waffle. I accuse Daniel Farke of waffle, and all I do is waffle. I want to thank you for anybody that like, comment, and subscribes to my channel. I'm not the guys that I mentioned at the previous start of the program, or start of this video. Those guys, some of them guys are technologically way better than me at anything. I'm just, as I said before, I'm an idiot in a bedroom, in my house, speaking into the microphone with a PC. That's it. So those guys are far light years ahead of me. Light years. Please, every single one of them, I love watching them all. I love, and every single one of them have different views. So please go and like and subscribe to their content, because listen, we're all Leeds. We all know we're all Leeds. The fact of the matter is, we all love the club. Doesn't matter about your view or my view or whatever. If Leeds win, we all win. We're all happy. Opinions are like arseholes. We all have one. Doesn't mean, or my opinion's right, your opinion's right. Doesn't mean anything like that. But it's just my view. And again, I'll finish on congratulations, Jer. Congratulations, all Leeds TV. It's been absolutely amazing watching all the content, and it's about time. And it's great to see two Leeds creators pick up awards and be recognised for the hard work that they do within this space. Not this space, I'm not in that space, I'm just a clown. But listen, again, thank you very much. A couple of days, hopefully we'll pick up maximum points, and hopefully we're reviewing the game and we're all in good form. Listen, marching on together, on, on.